And Shalom, Yahweh. Yeah, went over the 12, over the 18 nations that you know, there are a lot of people out here who, you know, they try to include every single race of people, you know, in the Bible and things of that sort. But according to the Bible, we are biblically going to get into the nations that are mentioned in the scriptures, and we are also going to show you who they are today. Simple as that. We are going to get into a lot of information as far as each and every one these tribes or nations, so to speak. Not tribes, like it. These nations, okay? Now we can break it down all the way to their own tribes, but that'll take a lot more time. We are just going to keep it brief and deal with each nation that we recognize and see in our everyday lives, whether you are in America, whether you are in a different country, okay? We are going to get into these other nations that you might see if you have read the Bible or studied it at least, all right? So that's what we are going to get into. It's going to be pretty thorough. So, you know, if I were you, I would definitely pay attention to the content. Also, too, share the class and pay your tithes, all right? Passover's coming up, April 24th. You want to get on top of that ASAP. Get your arrangements in order and, you know, be at the Passover, man. So once again, the 18 nations, like we're talking about the nations that are not Israel, the ones that are, you know, a different race of people, all right? Like the so-called Ishmael is going to be the Arabs. You know, our oppressor is going to be, you know, Esau, who is white. You have Elam, which is pretty much the first one that we're going into, who are the Indians. We are going to get into all of that, all right? We are going to write it in the Hebrew and break it down, and also put it into the Assyrian as well, just to sharpen up our sword, okay? So follow along with me if you could, Baba Kashan. So the title, just like the title, the 18 nations. Okay. Once again, this is a language class. This is very traditional. And within this language class, you should be able to teach this to your children or teach it to yourself. Study these videos. Get in tune with this. So that way we can get back to our own language, to the point where we are speaking ancient Hebrew. Okay? We are getting back to what they say in the world, their roots. Because Africa is not your roots. If you are a Black, Hispanic, Native American man, the Africans are an enemy to you. So just to break this down. This part, I want to put this in Hebrew as far as in English, on how to say it in Hebrew in English translation, but I'm not going to put it in the actual form of Hebrew, just to save us some space and a little bit of time, because we do have a lot to cover. So just bear with me if you could. Of course, if you have any questions or concerns, this would be a good time to ask it in the chat. I'll be checking the Facebook and the YouTube as well. All right, so like, you know what? Let me write that more better than that. Here. again, this is a class where you put everything down. So that way everybody has complete understanding of what is being displayed in this class, or better yet, on the board. All right, let's get into it. So, the 18 nations, right? The 18 nations in Hebrew, this is what it would look like. You have the Ha, in a sense, it's going to be the or the. Sham, Shamawana. Shamawana, Asherah. That right there is going to be 18. Because Shamawana is 8 by itself, the number 8. Asherah is 10. So when you put the 8 and the 10 together, just like math, it's 18. Okay? So then Gawayun or Goyun is nations. Now, if you just want to say nation without the S, or making it plural, it would just be Gawayun. But when you put yum underneath, next to anything last week, when you say the ak, right here, ak is A, that's like it. Ak is A-H-C-H, ak. Or better yet, if you want to say sister, that's akwa. Right? Akwa, right? So, ak by itself is brother, but when you put the yum, you are saying brothers. When you say akwa, saying sister, when you put the yum next to akwa, it turns it to akwathium, which is sisters, making it plural. For example, all right? So that's just a quick little tip, just so it makes sense. Some brothers and sisters do ask the question, when you put certain words together, how does it change? How does the meaning change? Okay, what does this word mean? And I just showed you a great example. All right, so the first nation that we're going to get into, and these are all random picked. These are not necessarily a certain order that you got to go by. But what we did last week, when we went into the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, that was in complete order from top to bottom. Okay, all the way from Judah, started at the beginning, all the way down to Issachar being the 12th tribe. All right, that is a certain specific order. But with these nations, these are just random. We are going to get all 18. All right. So let's get it. Many of you probably heard this word before or seen this word before in the Bible. Some people say Elam, some people say Elam. Elam is how most brothers and sisters will pronounce it in the truth. Elam, you see what I'm saying? And now, of course, we are going to get to who Elam is. Let me see. One thing that's very important about Hebrew, you have to make sure that you put in your connectors, open parenthesis or close parenthesis, in order to know what the word is saying. in order to know how to pronounce it and know what it is saying as well. So let me see some real quick. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Going to be the Hebrew. At the bottom is going to be the Assyrian. Okay. And so this comes out to be yeah. All right. I'm going to put spaces in here just so that people can know how to pronounce it better. That's how you say it in Hebrew. I-S-U.P.K. I-S-U.P.K. You have the I, you have the Ya, and you have the La and the Ma. When you put the La and the Ma together, it becomes Lum instead of Lama. If it wasn't together and it was separate, it would be Lama. Otherwise, together it's Lum. So I-Ya-Lum, I-Ya-Lum, Elam. Okay, simple as that. Now, let me see. Now, these people, according to the Bible, right? Because the Bible deals with biblical names. Okay, just give me 1 second, Scott. Let me see something real quick. All right, and everything as far as the Bible, you are going to see nothing but biblical words. White man, you're not going to see man. You're going to see biblical names to trace back with those. Just like the same thing with Judah, Benjamin, Levi. You start to find out that these are real people, that the Bible is not fictional. And that's what we have to understand. Now, of course, as far as a history class of breaking down each and every nation, we can give you that lineage with no sweat. But as far as in the Hebrew, we are just breaking it down right now in the Hebrew. We do have videos on our channel as far as breaking down some of these nations, okay? You can just go through a lot of our videos and you'll see a lot of topics being spoke about some of these nations that will be brought out within the class. So just keep following along. Otherwise, so they are Indians. Now, what type of Indians are you speaking about? It's the Indians, the ones that have the dots on their forehead. All right? The Indians with the dot, not the Indians with the feather. When we say the feather, we're speaking about the North American Native Indians. All right? That are, suffering and dying on the reservations, thanks to our oppressor. So Indians. Okay, and also too, Blue Letter Bible. Let me write that down. Because I found some of these on Blue Letter Bible. Let's see. Blue Letter Bible. Blue Letter Bible is where you can find Elam with this hashtag. Give me a second. You want to type this into the search bar. It is going to be H58 67. All right. Put that into the search engine or the search bar. When you go to Blue Letter Bible, see what I'm saying? .com. Put that in there, and you are going to find Elam. All right. Moving forward. so yeah, those are the Indians, but the and which Indian is India, right? But I'm just gonna put India, the ones with the dot, okay? All right, so to speak. So let me just put that in parentheses for you real quick. So East Indians, all right? Moving on. All right, Ashur, not Asher, but Ashur. That's how you pronounce Ashur. Now, Ashur and Asher from the 12 tribes, their name is very close and similar, you'll think, but there is a difference. Ashur are heathens. Asher are Hebrews. So what is the difference? If you are considered, or if you are considered or called a heathen, that definition just simply means that you are a stranger, or or an outsider of someone's land or someone's nation. Because they say that we all bleed red. That's very true. We all have blood in our system, in our veins. Understandable. So do animals. But we are not related to animals. But all nations are not the same family. And how else do we know? Even nature itself will teach you that. See what I'm saying? Even of the other nations will show you, and they know more than Black and Hispanic people in the world know that we are not the same people, and they show it to us every single day. So you should pick up on it fast in a hurry and figure out who are your people. If you are Black, Hispanic, or Native American, you are family. That's it. Y'all are family, and we went into that last week. Now, as far as these nations right here, these are heathens. These are not our family. They are different nations of people. You gotta understand that. And that's not hate, that's the truth. And even once again, even they will show you that with their actions. Okay? Give me a second. All right, let's get it. Um, which is just like the Assyrian Hebrew language, or better yet, the Assyrian language, really. Okay? How do you say this? This right here is I. This right here is by itself, Shah. This right here is a Y and a Ra. So if the Y and the Ra are connected, something drops off, and I'll show you. Y, and we have a Ra. Something has to drop off. Since it's connected, it's the A with the Ra that drops off. Okay? That's how you do it. Alright? It's a lot. The R is a little funny over there. Alright, here we go. So, Ashur is going to be Ashara. I'm just like Ashawar. Ashawar. It pretty much sounds very similar to the actual English name or word too. Okay? Now, who is Ashur? That is going to be, what is it? Yeah, that's going to be Assyria. Assyria, or better known as the Assyrians, okay? That's who Ashur is. Ashur, who is translated in Hebrew, Ashur, Assyria, or better yet, the Assyrians. I want to say yes. So in Hebrew, right, or just better yet, the biblical names, even with the 18 nations, if you want to say more than one Elam person, so to speak, it's Elamites. Okay, like for example, Elamites, Elamites. Okay, Elamites is more than one Elam person. All right, you have Ashurites. Ashurites. That's the Assyrians. Okay? But this is talking about the nation right now. So this is the nation of Assyria. So also too, you can find this in Blue Letter Bible too. Assyria or the Syria. Hashtag or pound sign, however you want to H804 is where you find that on Blue Letter Bible. Now I'm only doing this for a couple, just for time's sake. Yeah, just for time's sake. All right. Bear with me. Let's see. So Ashur, which is Assyria, or the Syrian, so to speak. Now we have another one, which is very similar. And yes, all these people are in the Bible, by the way, which are in the earth, as you see every single day. And they try to tell you that the Bible is something made up, something that's not true. It's like a fairy tale that they try to tell you. But these are real nations of people. Yeah. So we always do the Hebrew first and go into the Syrian. Well, honestly, if you are a person that is more in tune with Syrian than Hebrew, that is just fine. It's Tuah, which means good in Hebrew. As long as you write out both, I think it's very important to sharpen up your, your tools, your skills on how to use both. Okay. We have Ra, Salaki is more like this. Ra, Salaki. We have Ra right here, and then we have Ma. Once again, it's at the end. So if it's at the end, it's going to be a little different. I don't know if you guys can see that. Salaki. Hold on 1 second. It's kind of like a little box in a sense. All right. You have the Ra, and Ma. Ra, Ma. So, of course, the is right here. Put a little space of the divider. Ra and Ma is together, so that becomes Ram. Because some drops off, it's the A that drops off with the Ma. Okay? It's very understandable. You can comprehend the nation of people. They are going to be Syria, or better known as the Syrians. You have the Assyrians and Syrians, okay, the nations. Assyria and Syria. Just like Iran and Iraq. Iranians, Iraqians. Okay? Let's keep it going. See what time it is. All right, let me see. Like 1 second, bear with me. Like 1 second. One second, Salaki, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right, let's get it. All right, so Syria. We know a lot about the Assyrians in Syria. They are the ones that's fighting the wars out there. See what I'm saying? A lot of people make jokes, and being ISIS and things of that sort. That was a huge thing a few years ago, but I'm sure that thing pretty much died down. All right, so let's get on. Let me see. Each nation that I'm going to mention up here has had Black and Hispanic people in some type of form of activity. And yes, it is in the Bible. And yes, we can prove it. Once again, classes that we spoke about these things. Every time that we get into some ways, mention some of these. Okay? Psalms 83 is a chapter that you want to read as far as each nation or a group of nations came together and they were what is called being confederate against someone. All right? They was being confederate against the nation of Israel. They had it out for us to the point where they were trying to destroy us as a nation and as a people. All right? Once again, you can't tell me that these people love us when they do not. They don't show us in their actions. You can go ahead and be a part of Black Lives Matter, but that ain't saving Black lives. We are still dying with Black Lives Matter on the streets. And yes, they can come and join if they want to, but that in the I.S.U.P.K, we are not affiliated with Black Lives Matter. We show that we love and care for our people in a biblical, stronger, prophetic way. We don't be vain like the people out in the streets. And if you think that you can hold hand in hands with each nation that we are going to break down, then you are sadly mistaken. Okay? So give me 1 second here. All right, never mind, false alarm, let's get it. But I just want to prove that point real quick, and we are going to continue to dish out, all the false lies that people tell as far as these nations that say that they care about Black and Hispanics. All right, the next one that we have right here is Ishmael. Ishmael is one of Abraham's sons, but he more became more like a heathen later on in life. He became like one of those distant family members and became one of his own, like his own people, so to speak. Now, of course, at this time when Ishmael was alive, who was a brother to Isaac, we were not called Israelites. We were just Hebrews. As you know, Abraham's father was a Chaldean, which is a heathen as well. Okay? But we were not considered to be heathens. Yeah, we were not called Israelites at that time. We have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The reason why we say Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in that order, because Abraham came first. He's the forefather. Isaac, see what I'm saying? Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob. By the time we had Jacob on the earth, we became Israelites because Jacob, who was the first of the Israelites, was Israel. Now Ishmael or Salaki. Oh, Salaki, I messed up. Salaki, my bad. I know I did. Salaki, I was writing a little too fast. Ishmael. All right, Ishmael. Okay. Now, as far as Ishmael, once again, we are going to get into who they are. Their name is, a little tad bit similar to Israel, is what most people would say. But understand there is a difference between Ishmael and Israel. Okay. All right. So let me write this one a little bit more different so people are not confused. There we go. It's more better like it. This is like that. Sha. We have the ma, which is more like this now. All right. I goes like this. Okay. Is going to be like this in the Syrian. La is like this. All right. At the top, Hebrew, Assyrian at the bottom. Ishmael. Ishmael are going to be the Arabs or the Arabs. That's how some people talk and pronounce their name. All right. If you're from the hood, you're going to say Arabs. Some people say Arabs or Arabs. The ones that flood all Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities at the corner store. There's so many stories that I can get into how they show their hatred and no love to the people in a community that they're sucking dry. That is the Arabs, the ones that's at the corner store, the one that owns all these shops, the ones that call you cousin and say, the racial, they say, nigga. You see what I'm saying? Thinking that they are, family to you, kin to you. But as soon as you make a small mistake and they get upset with you, they call you all type of racial slurs in Arabic. I forget how they say slave. They speak about you and they speak about how they want to get rich off of you. How is it that in our own communities, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities, we don't have our own stores at the corner, which is called a corner store? Meanwhile, we have East Indians, Elam, Ishmael, Arabs, all in our community selling us things, and we're giving them all our money. And we wonder where the money is at. The money is in the Christian church. The money is in the drug dealer's hand. And the money is at these corner stores, hair shops, and I'm going to get into more, okay? Bear with me. Moving on. This is how, also to Salaki, how you say it. It's pretty long word. Let me put down here real quick. Do it like this. As you see, we have Ya, Sha, M and I connected together, which is going to be, yeah, my. Okay? And then we have the and the la by itself, which is la. Yashama Allah. Okay? Yashama Allah is how you say it. If you want to say Israel, Yashar Allah. Okay? Yashama Allah is how you say Ishmael in Hebrew. Now let's move forward. All right. Moab. Moab is a very pretty popular name that you might hear about when it comes to the scriptures. And the next one after it should be very self-explanatory. Especially if you read the book of Genesis, you should see Ishmael right away at the top. All right, Ishmael should come up in your mind already when it comes to the book of Genesis, because you're going to hear Abraham had 8 sons. Now, some of these other names you might see a little bit later. Also, too, Moab is a very popular name in America as far as it's all, it's like this, Moab, which stands for Mother of All Bombs. And based on when I get into the name of who these people are, the nation, I'm going to explain more about the Mother of All Bombs. Okay? All right, let's get it. If you don't know what Mother of All Bombs, or MOAB, means, Moab, once again, we're going to get into it. Okay, yeah. Yeah. All right. All right, so now we have it right here in the Hebrew, and I'm going to put it in the Syrian. All right, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, so we have a ma, a wa, and an and a ba. The ba. All right. Let me see. Ma, wa, ba. That's how you say Moab. Ma, wa, and ba. Ma, wa, ba. That's how you say Moab. And also in Syria. Another thing, someone had asked me how there's no connectors as far as the Syrian. That's not how the language was created. Okay? It was made without connectors, which these are when it's like that, when it's together, and when it's not together, those are called connectors. Okay? Now, let me double check something real quick. All right, 1 second. right, let's see here. Let me see. So Moab, the nation Moab is going to be the Chinese. Make sure I'm spelling Chinese right. Hold on. It's a lot. Here we go. Chinese. Okay. Now the mother of all bonds. As we know, China is what is called a superpower. China is also mentioned in the Bible as far as being a great country. It's full of power with their technology and with their weapons. As allies, America's allies with China. But there have been times where America has stepped on the toes of the Chinese, who are Moab or Moabites, okay? To where they was ready to drop the mother of all bombs and ready to drop it on America because they had that much power of a bomb to wipe us out in America. And you better believe it. Their military system is crazy, and it's nothing to play with or take lightly. Okay? All right. Now, let's see. Now, a lot of people get Ammon and nations of people. They often get offended in the same boat. And I'll explain a little bit. So, Mawa Chinese, Ammon. Okay. All right, Moab is how you write it out in Hebrew as far as Moab. So we have the I, then we have the Ma, then we have the Wa. Let's see, the Wa is the Wa. Okay, yeah, there we go. We have the Wa and the Love connected together, which is this right here. So like I forget sometimes. So okay, yeah, so yeah, double check. Boom, there we go. All right, so that is the I, the Ma, the Wa, and the Na. This is how you would say it. I'm a one. I'm a one is going to be Moab, Ammon. All right? It's like Ammon. Ammon is how you say it. Ammon. I'm a one. It's Ammon. Okay? Ammon and who they are is going to be the nation of the Japanese. The Japanese is going to be Ammon. I'm a one is how you say it in Hebrew. Japanese. It's a lot I can't spell today. All right, Japanese. Okay, once again, Moab and Ammon hate being categorized as the same people. Some people think that they look alike. They're all Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, Vietnamese, Hmong, Asian. They all look alike. Now, some of those race of people that I just mentioned come out of Chinese and So I got that correct. And categorized as the same people. They look alike in a sense because of this, the Down syndrome. There's a name for it, and it starts with an M. I want to say it's Mongolism, something like that, where it's a nation of people that have a form of Down syndrome. That's why the Moabites, the Chinese, and the Ammonites, Japanese look the way that they look, with their eyes and their face and things of that sort. Okay, moving on. We still got a lot to go over. Let's see what's the time looking like. All right. We got 30 minutes left. Let's see if we can get through all this. Let me check this real quick. Okay. All right. Next, we have the oppressor. Edom. Or better yet, let me see something real quick. We have Edom or Esau. Okay. I put Esau there for a person. Everyone should know who Esau is. If you know who Jacob is, you know who Esau is. Esau is the oppressor, who is the white man. Okay. Edom is the nation of Esau. All right. Just decided to give that, give you that little hint, because a lot of people already know that's common knowledge who Edom are or who they is. All right. It's kind of like a little box, you know what I'm saying, for the Syrian at the end of the word. It changes for some of the letters. All right, so we have a da, wa, and ma. So we're going to translate to is da, and the wa and the ma is connected, so that would be one. Adawan. Instead of saying Adawan with a na, Adawan means Edom, or better yet, Adawan also means the color red, because Esau, the oppressor, is not really white. He is a red man because his veins shows through his flesh. Okay, his blood, his veins and things of that sort. Which of course this would be, white people. All right, or white man. And also does mean red as well. I put that into parentheses. Actually, matter of fact, red. There you go. Okay, that's what it is. Edom or Esau, Adawan, means red, or Edom, and then which equivalates to the white man, who is our oppressor, that the Bible speaks of. All right, let's keep it going till we get to the bottom. Now, as we know, it's something I want to get into as well. We should all know who this is, Israel. We should all know who Israel is. Okay. All right. All right. So we have it, yeah. As a matter of fact, it's a lot. I need to write my yeahs better than that. It's a lot here. That's really how it looks. Ya, sha, ra, la. This is going to be ya, sha, like that shit, shar. Because the sha and the ra is together, the I is by itself, and the la is by itself. Ya, shar, Allah. You see it's a little similar to this one right here? The only difference is instead of saying shar, right here, it's going to be shema. Ya, shema, Allah. Okay? Ya, shar, Allah. All right? Which, in a nutshell, Yasha Allah is going to be Israel, or better yet, Israel. We can put Jacob, because Jacob is Israel. Otherwise, in Hebrew, I say Jacob is Yahweh. But better yet, it's going to be blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Just like we went over last week. Okay? So, just to recap for a second. All right, just to recap for a second. We know that the 18 nations so far is Ha, Shamawana, Asherah, Gawiyam, right? The 18 nations. Elam, Ayalam, East Indians. Once again, you find that in Ashawar. That's where you find that. Otherwise, another thing is too, you can simply, if you want to find these in a Blue Letter Bible, all you gotta do is get a Hebrew keyboard. Download a Hebrew keyboard. You can download one for iPhones and Androids, okay? And all you gotta do is type this into the search bar as well. The ya, the sha, the ma, the I, the and the la, which will translate to Yashemai Allah, which are the Arabs or Arabs, okay? However you say it. Moab or the Moabites. Mawa'apa, Chinese. M, I'm a one. Japanese, or Esau. Adawan, which means, Adawan means red as far as the color. Otherwise, it's talking about I will oppress him. White men. Okay? Israel, my favorite. Now, they say that some of these people had us in captivity. Of course, Israel is not on that list necessarily. When I say on that list, like he's on the list. They on the list, right? But Israel has never enslaved their own people. That's another myth. They say Africans sold Africans. Well, the thing is, black and Hispanic people, Native Americans, we ain't no damn Africans. The Lord put a difference between the Hebrew man. I believe it says the Hebrew and the Egyptian. That's in the Bible, in the book of Exodus. I want to say the 11th chapter. Okay? Israel, my people. Yashar'Allah, which is, Jacob, who is the father of, or progenitor, which is father of, as far as definition, of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, all the 12 tribes. Okay? Because he had 12 sons. All right? So, let's keep going. If you do not have this written down, I advise everyone to go back to the class and write this down. In the meantime, we are going to move forward with the other nations until class is over with. If we can get to the rest of them. It looks like we only did 8. Yeah, we only did 8. We got 10 more. If we don't finish by today, no sweat. We can get the rest next week and jump into something that I've been wanting to jump into for quite a while now. Don't forget, we are going to revisit those words, those most Hebrew words. Okay? 50 of them. I don't. Bear with me. Okay. So, once again, you can find all these names in the Bible. Cush, okay? Now, for you potheads, this is not a nation. See what I'm saying? This is not a Cush that you be smoking on. This is the actual nation by the name of Cush. All right? Now, on top of Africans, this is a set of Africans. Okay? So let's get it. All right. All right. So, all right. In Hebrew, how you say it right here is you got the ka, the wa, and the sha. Okay? But some are connected, some are not. So the ka is by itself, the ka is by itself. So we got the ka, then we got the wa, and then you have the sha, but it's connected right here with the wa. So something drops off. It's the A that drops off the sha, so you have kawash. Kawash. Kawash is how you say Cush in the Hebrew. And who is this nation of people? Let me make sure I'm spelling this right. It's going to be the Ethiopians, the ones with the big fat head. Okay, that nation. The ones that are skinny with the big forehead. All right, they don't eat too much. They don't get enough food in their system. That's who the Ethiopians are. The ones that come from Ethiopia. Okay? All right. We got another nation of Africans. Okay? Mizraim. 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 All right. Want to make sure that's correct. Yep. Okay. Ma Taza Ra Yama. Taza is going to be okay. Ra Ya Ma. It's more like a box sense. All right. Say it in Hebrew. Let's break it down. You have the Ma. You got the Ma. You got the Tazah. It's actually going to be Tazar. Because the Tazar and the Ra is together, so it's going to be Tazar. And then we have the Ya and the Ma, which makes young. Matazayar. Mizraim, Matazayar. Matazayar. Slightly. Matazayar. There you go. It's a little tongue twister. Okay. Now, who are these people? These nation of people. I'll tell you in the Hebrew. Anytime you look up this, okay? All right. Mizraimites would be the Egyptians. Moving on. This is Put. Okay? The nation of Put, which is another, is a part of the Africans as well. It relates to the topic of Africans. Okay? I'm going to show you. I'm moving a little faster here so we get as much as we can. All right. Okay. We have Put. So, right here is going to be like that. Like that. Is like this. Okay. We have Ka, Sa. Okay. Pa, Wa, and the Ta together is going to be what? For what? For what? That's how you say it in Hebrew. What nation is this, or what does put mean? What does it come down to? It comes down to North Africa. So pretty much the North Africans. Okay, the North Africans, or North African, or Africa, it's like Africa. All right, North Africa, North African, same thing, not a big deal. All right, Canaan. A lot of people have heard. All right, let's get it. That's how you say it in the Hebrew. We are going to break it down in the Syrian. Or it's like that's how you write it out in the Hebrew. We are going to write it out in the Syrian. Okay. So like, let me see, double check real quick. There we go, yeah. As you see this right here, this na is different than this one. It's different because of how it is at the end of the word. When it's a na at the end of the word, it changes. There we go. It's a lot better. No sweat. Okay. Now, how do we write this out in English, or how to pronounce it, so to speak? We have the ka by itself, the na by itself, and then we have the I and the na together, which gives you un. Could not un. Could not un. Can. Canaan. It's like Canaan, not Canaan. Canaan. Could not un. Okay? So now, this is going to be South Africa, or the people of South, South Africans. South Africa. Okay, let's keep going. Gomer. Some people probably don't know this one. Okay. Gamara. Gamara. That's the Hebrew and here we go. Gamara. Gamara. So we got the Ga, got the Ga, the Ma, with the Ra together, which makes it Mar. Gamar, which are the French. Yeah. Probably right there a little more. Make it bold a little bit. French, the French. Everyone knows who the French are. Magog. Magog. This is another great power in the earth as well. Okay. One moment. All right, Magog. Let's get into it. Slide Ma. Ma here. That's a lot of actually. I don't like the way that looks. We got the Ma by itself, the Ga by itself, and we have the Wa and the Ga by together, which is so Ma Ga Da. Oh man, hold on. Ma Ga Wa and the Ga. So that's together, and this is what you're gonna get. Ma Ga Wa. Okay. Ma Ga Wa is what you're gonna get for Magog, which is Russia. Russia is a very strong country as well when it comes to war and battle. So the nation of Magog is Russia or the Russians. I'll give you another one. Javan. Javan. And that's going to be okay. All right. So how do you say this? Let's see. You got the ya, you got the wa, you got the na. Ya, the wa and na is connected. You're one. All right. All right, now Yawam means day, like today. And this is the Greek. Greek or Greeks. Yawan, Van, Greek. And I think that's the time right there. We do have some more that we can get into next week. This is perfect. We went over a majority of them. So just to recap with this one, Cush is going to be Qadash, the Ethiopians, Mizraim, Matazarium, Egypt or Egyptians, Put, it's going to be Put, North Africa or Africans, Canaan, Canaan, South Africa or Africans, Gomer is Gomer, French, Magad, Russia, people of Russia. One is going to be Yawan and the Greeks or Greek. All right. Once again, if you want to figure out where to find these in the scriptures, all you got to simply do is plug this in. Plug it in. All right. Everything's right to left, not left to right. And you will find your answer in the Blue Letter Bible at .com. So you go ahead and do that. Otherwise, Israel, that is the time. I do want to say, Shalom, Yahabashim, Shabbat, to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahabashimar, Bashim, Shad, all the sisters. That being said, catch us next week. Otherwise, tomorrow, as we do the Sabbath service. Shalom. All right.